I don't think they'd ever miss him.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Or Joel would know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably. We all take one, we just add back there.
Somebody said something about some chairs from somewhere that we might be able to get, but I can't remember who that was. Joe Palmer? Somebody.
Judy. Rufus.
Ready? Okay.
Anyway.
I'm gonna go ahead and open up the common council meeting on March 22nd at 7 p.m. Could we please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley.
Present.
Mike Bright.
President.
Grant Fuller.
Here.
Joe Palmer.
Present.
Megan Sheets.
Present.
Clarence Worthen.
President.
Eric Woods.
Present.
Okay, next on the agenda is the March 8th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Is there any questions, concerns? I think Joe had,
I have an amendment to that.
okay,
Down there on the, where the main hotel was sold, it says C&F Industries. That needs to be changed to CJ Investment Group, LLC.
Noted, thank you.
okay, so then we can pass that then as amended, correct? Les?
Yes.
Okay,
With that, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second. Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, was there any public comments? Did you have to check or?
Would you mind
check?
looking? Thank you.
Thank you.
No, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to recess the council meeting at 7:01. It's a public hearing on ordinance number 21-05. And this is an additional appropriation that we had passed on first reading at the last meeting to have an appropriation for COVID expenses of $50,000 for this year. Is there any comments, questions? Anybody have anything? Okay, if there's no comments or questions, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and reopen the city council meeting at 7:02. I think I'm going to go ahead and move up ordinance 21-05, second reading up to next on the agenda.
I'll move to pass ordinance 2105 on second reading.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets. Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-05 passes on second reading. Next meeting, we'll bring it back to you, third reading, and then Carol can make the transfer on that. Okay, next on the agenda is ordinance 21, second reading. And this is authorizing the compensation for the Frankfurt Police Department training.
Make a motion.
I'd make a motion to suspend the rules and pass this on second, third reading.
Okay, did you get that, Carol?
I did, thank you.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, Clarence second that.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets. Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Now, could I have a motion to pass that on second and third reading, please?
I'll make the motion. We pass that on second, third.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Bright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets. Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-03 passes on second and third reading tonight. Next on the agenda is ordinance number 21-04, and that's authorizing compensation for the Frankfurt Fire Department training.
Maybe we suspend rules and pass on second, third reading.
I'll second.
Grant or Joe, whoever.
I'm gonna give that to Grant first.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets, Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Could I have a motion, please, to pass ordinance number 21-04 on second and third reading?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
So that was Mike and Clarence.
Yes. Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets, Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is ordinance number 21-06. Could we have a motion to read it by title only or in its entirety?
I'll move to read ordinance 2106 by title only.
Second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets, Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Could I- oh, sorry.
Ordinance number 21-06, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2016, setting the salaries and hourly wages for the employees of the civil city of Frankfort, Indiana.
Carol, do you want to explain that to us a little bit before we have a motion to pass that?
This is an addition to the regular salary ordinance that's passed every year. This refers to the clothing allowances that were left off of that ordinance this year. Both our police and fire department have clothing allowances, as well as our parks, building services, and street department.
For clarification, these, the amounts were in the budget, just not delineated in the title form, correct?
That is correct.
With that clarification, I move that we pass ordinance 21-06 on the first reading.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets, Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-06 passes on first reading. Next on the agenda is ordinance 21-07. Could I have a motion to read this by title only or its entirety?
Move we read by title only.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Fran?
Thank you. Roll call.
Yes, roll call.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets, Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Is there any discussion on this ordinance? And I know Jason's here tonight.
Either or, Liz. I'm not sure if Liz wants to talk about it
Do you
or
want to
not.
talk about it, Liz?
I don't have the old numbers, Jason.
Oh.
The microphone will be turned on, Jason.
I appreciate it, Mayor, and council. I got with Les and I talked with the mayor prior to this as well, about looking at raising our bulk item fees and kind of, bringing down the list that we had. I believe, I'm not sure about these ordinances, how they work, but 98, I assume that's the last time that there was any change in those bulk item prices. And then, as the years went on, probably without council approval, there's been things added to that list and things that we've charged for as we move forward. I just kind of wanted to condense the list and raise some of these prices for the bulk items that we receive out there. Bulk items are, furniture, appliances, carpet pad, televisions, bathroom fixtures, so on and so on. Some of those we take out to the street department for nothing if someone brings it. If we have to pick up those same items on the side of the road, there's a fee for that. And then some of them, there's a fee for bringing them and for us, obviously, to pick them up. And if we have to go get them, they're obviously a little more expensive. Some of the changes we made, and I think I may have spoken to Megan about too, we had a difficult time making change for people as well. We're not allowed to keep a lot of cash on hand at the street department. And some of those were like a $7 fee. And trying to find change at times is difficult. But it was mostly for the increase in prices that we got from Walkers and that we've got from the landfill over the last 2-3 years. They've increased every year. And this is kind of a way to offset that. I don't honestly know exactly where all that money goes and how it's returned back to the city, but either way, it comes back to us somehow for us to use budget time. But just for instance, like furniture, we used to have couches, we used to have chairs, we used to have this, we used to have that. Now it's just furniture. It used to be a $7 drop off and a $15 pickup. I wanted to raise that to 10 to drop it off and 20 to pick it up. And most of them will be this amount. You're going to see a $5 to $10 increase depending on what we're looking at. The only thing that I think looking through here that we raised quite a bit was the carpet pad, I believe. Obviously, it can come in wet. The heavier it is, the more expensive it is to get rid of it. We get a lot of that, and it's hard to decipher how much carpet. Okay, do we charge $5 for a little bit? Do we charge $10 for a lot? So we wanted to kind of change that a little bit, obviously, just due to the fact how much it weighs. And then we discussed truckloads of trash, which we obviously, everyone pays the user fee on the side of the street in the city, but we get many times Chevy truckloads full of bags of trash. And we just can't let people come out there and give us bags of or truckloads of trash. We allowed 6 bags on the side of the road to begin with, but yeah, this is just basically we looked at it as a truckload of trash is $20. There used to be on the list earlier, it was S10 or full size. It's like, well, we can't do this. We gotta minimize things. We gotta get things, I guess, a little more understanding for Christina. So I can give you copies and can send you guys some copies of this, the old prices versus the new prices. In the old ordinance, I think there's about 7 different things listed, and that's it. And a lot of those on that ordinance there we actually take for nothing anyway. Automobile, like, let's see here. I guess we charge for all of them. I was thinking there was a oil or something in there, but most of those we always, we've asked for money for in the past. I've just asked Les to replace our new list with this old list. And then, like I said, condensed our list that we have at the shop. The only thing and the other reason I did that is automobile and truck tires. We're not going to any longer take tires out of the street department. We're going to bypass the middleman, that's me. We don't make any money doing it. We fill up a trailer full of truck tires or car tires, take them over to Wampler. He charges a certain amount to take her. Now on, we're just going to let people take them directly to him. And that way we get out of tire. It's a mess. It's hard to get the trailer out of there when it is. Probably should have 2 trailers for the amount of tires we get. And like I said, I think it's $2 a tire. And so we're not making any money with this. We're getting out of the tire business. But
Jason, the only things that I would question is why the appliances and water heater are no charge, because they can be pretty heavy and pretty good size things.
if they brought here, they go in our metal So we make
Okay.
money off
Okay.
of that through our
Good.
mailbox.
That answers my
So
question.
we've always let this people bring that. Obviously on the side of the road, it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
No problem.
Jason, what about batteries? They go through solid waste?
Battery good, you saw.
No charge.
Yes, no charge.
I apologize to Jason. I called him after the Board of Works meeting and he called me back. And we were not able to redline these changes because the office was closed for one thing. And Patty wasn't there, but I told Jason I'd try and go by and get a copy of the old ordinance. You don't have the old ordinance schedule there, but I them to you, Jason. Very few of these changed, as I recall, and the ones that did just barely went up.
I had that look into the page with the old stuff on it.
These prices look pretty reasonable to me considering, the manpower it takes to go out and pick some of this stuff up. Given that, I'll move and pass ordinance 2107 on first reading.
Second.
Yeah, I didn't read it. You didn't read it, but we made a motion to do it. Okay, she's gonna read the title and then.
Oh, we did.
Well, we did it, but then she didn't. I'm sorry, Carol. Keep going.
Ordinance number 21-07, an ordinance amending section 98.03 of the Frankfurt Municipal Code as to drop off and pick up items, fees for bulk items.
Okay, I got one.
Now I'll move to pass ordinance 2107 on first reading.
Second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Wright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-07 passes on first reading. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
If somebody brings carpet out, say they got 3 rooms of carpet, how do you charge?
We keep, it's all the same. It's all the same. We don't weigh nothing, and, we just do it by whatever's on this list. that you just got.
One other thing, when we were working on this, that Jason mentioned to me was that, for instance, they had a call, I guess, to pick up a hot tub,
Yeah.
which is pretty doggone big and heavy, and a piano.
Yeah.
And so, those items are not listed, and you can't list everything, but it does have to be scheduled somehow. So we did add language there on the second page that nothing in excess of 100 pounds is going to be picked up. That's plenty for 2 men. And we put in a drop-off fee of $20 for that and $30 for delivery. And on the list of items, the furniture and appliances, for instance, we had language on page 2 that that's per item.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have resolution number 21-04, and this is pertaining to the transfer of funds from city general to the rainy day fund. I wasn't positive, but are you guys ready to take action on that at this meeting? Okay. I need a motion then for that.
I'll make motion that we pass resolution 2104.
Second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Wright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Resolution 21-04 passes. So Carol, you can take care of making sure that is transferred into rainy day.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Did we do 21-04?
I think it's there.
This is the one that we-
You just 21 over there.
Yeah, that's the one we just voted on.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wanna make sure we're-
Yes, the rainy day resolution.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that was the ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wasn't sure. Okay, next we have old business. Megan, did you have something you wanted to bring up under old business?
Yes, I talked to the mayor. I think just for point of clarification and to be, in the minutes, after our last council meeting, we had a work session where we discussed the public safety training complex. And by consensus, the council agreed to, approve this set aside, if you will, of, monies that were already allocated to Operation Fire Department, but in the amount of $40,000. But at this time, allowing a draw of $25,000 initially to go towards, the training complex. The remainder, to be upon future requests and to see about the progress of the complex. But I'd like for the council to be, on record as the approval of that $25,000 draw at this time. And so should I proceed and just suggest that that's a motion?
It's already in the budget.
It's already in the budget.
But we're making a transfer. We're doing, adding an appropriation and transferring it down.
Yeah, you can do that by motion.
Yeah, I think that way it'll be.
So I'd like to, tonight for the council to, I'll make the motion that we transfer $25,000 to the training complex project.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Carol.
I'm sorry, who was that second?
Brant.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Wright.
Aye.
Brant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, we'll have Carol make that transfer, and I think we're still waiting to hear from Matt, is that correct?
That
To
is
see
correct.
that they're ready for the draw. I don't think they're ready for it yet, but when they know everything.
I will reconnect with him. I know Carol has, but I'll reconnect just so long as he knows the ball's in his court now.
Okay.
For this one. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, under new business, Street Department Superintendent Jason Forsythe is requesting to purchase a push mower out of the grassland fund, and I think we had this discussion a while back when the police department used that same money, and according still to that resolution, it reads the same way and needs council approval. So Jason, do you want to talk to us about that?
I gave everyone a copy, before the meeting, so I wasn't in the packet. Basically, I think you're all aware of the street department's, responsibility during the grassland situation. Obviously, the tickets road, a certain period of time that they get to mow the yard. And then obviously if they don't, then we, go down and we take care of mowing that, and they're charged a certain fee. I'm not sure what that fee is, but either way, we bought a $8,000 mower out of our own budget last year, to start mowing those yards. And, to be honest, Vince and usually one other individual stayed fairly busy all summer long, mowing yards. A lot of them were the same yards, but they were mowing yards all summer long. We didn't have we have a push mower that we mow the yard out, the small area of the yard out at the street department. But we don't have a good size industrial push mower to assist Vince and whoever happens to roll with him day by day for that. But I forgot, I didn't realize how difficult it was to find a push mower anyway, to purchase a decent industrial size push mower. But I spoke with Rob Allen, and they actually do not sell them out there, but they got in contact with their Honda dealer, and obviously Phoenix is a local business. They got in touch with the Honda dealer, and they agreed to let Rob sell those through his business or through Phoenix Lawn and Garden and Shane Thomas. But anyway, what's in front of you is it's a 21-inch self-propelled push mower. It's obviously got the hydrostatic transmission. You push it, and if you don't hang on, it's going to pull you along with it. But it is a 21-inch, pretty good size deck for a push mower. And basically, what I've done is this. The guys know at work, if this is approved, that it will stay with that particular situation. That's what it's for. It'll stay with the mower that we bought to mow the yards. It'll stay with the weed eaters that we have set aside with that. And Vince used to have his own mowing business. That's why he's where he's at. He takes really good care of the equipment. I don't have any complaints from his work each and every time on these yards. And just look to see if you guys would mind if I use that 417 fund to purchase the mower for $899.99.
There's
Phoenix.
$12,259 in that fund right now.
Should we just make a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Steve Beardsley.
Aye.
Mike Wright.
Aye.
Grant Fuller.
Aye.
Joe Palmer.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Clarence Worthen.
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, Jason,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
thank you.
And gals.
Tonight we have Parker with us from Reedy Financial. And I believe you're here to give us an update on the RDC financial summary, right? Along with,
That works.
okay,
Good evening, council. For those who just first meeting tonight, my name is Parker Criswell with Reedy Financial Group. I work really closely with Mayor, Clerk's Office, and Joe, and helping with our redevelopment commission's financials. And now that we've gotten to the new year, finally, after what seemed like an eternity, unfortunately, we are jumping into another list of the annual reporting requirements owed by the redevelopment commission. So that being said, tonight, what you have in front of you, the document looks like such. It says financial update on it. That is going to be what is known as the April 15th reporting requirement. Simply put, it's just like a snapshot of last year's financials for the RDC. So we'll kind of jump through it real fast, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. So jumping in, first couple pages, obviously just formalities, title page, table of contents. Page 3 there, that's going to be the list of all the reporting requirements I just mentioned. At the top, you say April 1st, that'll be what we complete Thursday at the RDC meeting, followed by the one we're completing tonight, April 15th. And then moving downward, those will be ones that we continue to check off as the year continues forward. Moving to page 4, this is just another overview of the RDC. You see the commissioners and the officers for the board, local council, any overlapping units, that's any unit within the taxing districts for Frankfurt. And then finally, you have the TIP allocation areas down there. So that's just kind of a very high level overview of any of the allocation areas that might be referenced throughout the year for Frankfurt's redevelopment commission. Moving on to page 5, you kind of have what is the bulk of this document. This is going to be the financial snapshot for the consolidated allocation area for Frankfurt. There at the top, you see the beginning cash balance of $911,000. Total revenues for the year of $1.5 million. Moving downwards, we have capital outlays throughout the year, any debt payments that were made, and then other services and charges throughout the year. Finally, total spending of $1.2 million, allowing a surplus of just shy of $300,000. Finally, a year-end cash fund balance of $1.2 million. Moving on to page 6, it's a little bit of a simpler fund for the time being. This is the ConAgra allocation area. Basically, the way this fund works, it's kind of money in, money out for the time being. The beginning cash balance of $1.15 million, total revenues of $2.2 million, total spending of $2.2 million as well, and then ending the year about where we started out with of $1.1 million. And then there at the bottom, kind of what I referenced as this money in, money out kind of concept. The footnote there at the bottom kind of explains the structuring of that fund. Finally, moving on to page 7, we have the debt overview for the RDC. There at the top, we have any of the debt payments that are owed by the redevelopment commission for both of the areas. The bond that's related with the ConAgra allocation area, and then that long list of green boxes there at the bottom. That's any of the current trustee balances regarding the Prairie Creek Park. So the rest of the report, these are going to be the list of any parcels that are within Frankfurt's redevelopment commission. Basically, it's going to have parcel number, property type codes, real property or personal property, the taxpayer name, gross assessed value, and then net, and then base and increment, which are kind of what the TIPs are able to collect off those increments. So as far as this report goes, that completes it. And like I said, this will check off the box for the April 15th reporting requirement. All we have to do now is basically, upon your guys' approval, we'll then submit it to the DLGF and move on to the next one.
I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Fontana Fasteners, when does that end? Do you know, when does that expire?
So it was structured as such as a standard bond, unless I'm mistaken. I believe it should be along the lines of,
It's so many years, wasn't
it
it?
was quicker than a 20-year, I know that.
Yeah,
much.
it was, but I didn't know where we were on that.
But I don't have it. Well, sorry, actually, I can tell you. So if you go to page 7, there at the top, we have the Fontana Fasteners project, that bond that was associated with that. That first line, the final maturity date, 8/1/2024.
Okay,
So that'll be the conclusion of that.
okay. That's good to know. I had another question as well. So as we know, RDC helps with Prairie Creek Park as far as the programs,
Yes,
different people.
yes.
Okay, so where is that in?
So, you see the PCP programming, there are the
Yes.
capital outlays. Obviously, that was only 12,000.
Yes.
As we all know, unfortunately, we had a lot of events cancellation or postponed to this year. And, working closely with Joe, we allowed, or the ability to any funds that we have earmarked for, those annual, events, we were able to move it over to this year. So expecting maybe a surplus of events this year to make up for any that were missed last year.
Yeah, that's what
Those funds will be available this year.
there will be enough
Yes.
available then, okay, because I saw that 12,000, I'm like, that's.
Yeah,
not
no,
gonna
that
do
was fortunately lower than,
it. Okay, because they didn't, I don't know that they used any last year for the programming, so,
outside of what was maybe touched on at the very beginning of the year, the first couple of months.
okay, so we're still good on that
Yes.
side, okay. And the same with IU Health Hospital, do you have that in there, how long that is?
Any other questions?
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good report. And then, we also were gonna talk about, Carol and I had received, an engagement letter for Reedy for financial services. And, Carol and I talked about it, and we're both fine with going ahead with an engagement letter with them, but also the council uses them as well. So I wondered if you had any questions for Parker, or if you had any thoughts on that?
If I might too. So really the engagement's the exact same, just for legal purposes and everything. We wanted to make sure that we were staying up to date on those things. That way, if there was some reason we do need to look back on it, it's as up to date as possible. So that being said, there will be zero change in how you guys contact us or anything that we currently provide to the city. Just a matter of legal formality, really. So.
What does this engagement letter do in the way of, does it prohibit us from using other firms if we deem it appropriate?
I don't believe so, no. I believe,
I saw that excluded.
I say to your point, actually, I think that is in the, it's the last couple sentences within the first paragraph. I know this engagement is specific to, as Mayor mentioned, just mainly city work, clerk's office and stuff like that. So, any of the ordinances or if we help along the lines with any of the additional appropriations, that's really what this engagement is focused on.
And that's just for city, it's not RDC or utility.
Yes.
So,
On the second page, it refers to preparation of monthly management reports. Is that something that the council can get, or the finance committee, or somebody can get access to? That's something that I'd be real interested in seeing.
I'm sure it could be made available. I know that's something that Jerry works closely with Carol with, as with Mickey.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that I examine. I'm a CPA, and
Okay.
I like to see that.
You speak my talk, then, yeah.
And the next item there, I know that probably people don't get real excited about this, but it's got capitalized the word preparation and capitalized the word review, and those have very technical jargon to the CPA profession. Didn't know if those should be not capitalized or select different words, because they have absolute meaning to the
Okay.
profession.
Sure. That would be, I know originally this is more of like I'm sure legal was probably drafted this up for us.
Yeah.
For that very reason right there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's something that we look at.
Yeah, like I said, it probably doesn't matter to most people, but that just really
Completely understand.
jumps out at me.
Nope, completely understand.
And currently, Steve, we have, Reedy come quarterly
Okay,
and meet with us and
yeah,
and give us
yeah, we
reports
have
at
that
that time. Oh, yeah,
scheduled.
you're gonna be there.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But if you're interested in the monthly, somebody interested in that or
Yeah, I'd very much like to get copy on that.
Carol has talked to
And,
Jerry.
and electronic, I mean, you don't have to kill paper, you know. Electronic would be fine, but I'd like to be able to see it.
Okay.
Any other questions we can answer anybody?
Would anyone be interested in making a motion to say that you're in agreement with this contract or not?
Is it necessary? I mean, this is
I,
it's
that's why he
executive.
said we can, it's whichever way you
I
want
don't say it's necessary for.
to. Okay, okay. So you're, okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, the next thing on discussion under new business is the meeting location. Do we want to try to go back to Old Stony? The first meeting in April, which would be April 12th, I believe.
I think we can move back to the chamber. We don't have that many people come.
Right.
If we have a special thing, we can always go out once and come back.
We can still continue to social distance, require masks, or ask people to wear masks, and sanitizing, of course.
I think the Board of Works this evening.
Decided to do that, yeah. So is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. April 12th, we'll go back to Old Stony then in the council chambers. Next on the agenda is the approval of CF1s. And first we have NHK, I believe everyone has received those. Carol, is that correct? You sent all these out?
Yes, I have
Okay.
sent all 10, I believe, of those on to for review of the council members.
I think we could probably do, like NHK has 4, we could do all this together. Or if you want to do all of the CF1s totally, that's up to you. We've
Yeah,
done it both ways.
I'd like to make a statement. Spoke with a couple of counselors on this. Given the COVID issues that we've experienced over the last year, I think it's safe to say that a lot of developments have been slowed down. We saw that in the narrative. And I think it, might be improper to really put it on these companies to hold up exactly the criteria that was put in their the original SB ones. So, I would definitely be favorable for just passing these all this year with a clear understanding with no movement next year, that same pass wouldn't be there. But as I read the narratives, I believe each one, there's a reasonable pass to be given. And again, I spoke with a couple other counselors that agreed. So given that, I definitely want to open up the conversation, but my motion would be to pass all of them this year with that understanding of, next year, no movement would require intervention.
I agree with you. And like you looked at some of those narratives, and I think it's gonna be the same for, a lot of them. COVID definitely had an effect on.
Yeah, obviously backstep is probably the
Yeah.
biggest concern on here. But if there is no development, there was really no taxes to be gained anyway. So there's really, it's nothing to the city to allow them one more year. But I do believe that if there is no movement in that year, there probably needs to be found in non-compliance and then they can reapply. So that's kind of my caveat to give them a pass this year, is it won't be a second.
Okay.
Would it be possible to, in the form of a letter, to give them the full warning of that consideration? Here's what we're seeing, but we may be produced next year. Or have a conversation.
Yes, you could do that, but remember, you can only act as a council, so the council would need to see the letter, I think, before it goes out.
Giving them a year in advance for a heads up, I think it's an important piece, and I'd like for us to do that courtesy.
Is someone going to draft that letter?
Was.
I need to know what the council wants to say, I guess.
I mean, he wants them to the effect that the CF1s this year were passed due to, well, COVID situations or whatever that may have had an impact.
Yeah, I mean, the criteria wasn't stringently applied this year for that reason, you know, and again, I think the back step is really, I think all it applies to, but, and that's probably the only group we need to send the letter to unless you can from someone else. But again, I think our authority lies in the ability to grant compliance or non-compliance, right? Les, I mean,
That's correct.
we clearly can say that, and I believe all of that language is stated in the paperwork that was initially given when the tax abatement was granted. So, you know, we can definitely, you know, send a kind letter that we could vote on or agree by consensus of that. And another council meeting, I would agree to that.
Well, I'll try to draft the letter then and have it here for your approval at the next meeting.
Very much appreciated, thank you.
Maybe include that in our council packet so we can come with any suggestions we might have at the time of the council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then we'll go ahead and get the CF1 submitted then. I think part of those Jay is probably gonna help you with, right, Carol?
Yes.
Some of them will be the individuals, but we'll go ahead and process the CF1s. Do we take a vote on that? I can't remember. Okay, do we need,
Had a motion.
okay, Eric made the motion to pass all the CF1s.
Second.
Steve seconded that. Roll call, please.
No, I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Is this for all the CF
Yes.
ones? All, of them, not just.
That was my motion.
All of them.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm clear.
Okay, thank you.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer, Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay, the CF1s that were presented tonight for NHK, Pennington Holdings, Backstep Brewing, LOL LLC, and Riker Investments passed tonight. And the paperwork will be sent on to the courthouse then. Also under new business, according to the way the Historic Preservation Commission is set up, I'm to ask the council's approval for anybody that I would like to put on that committee. I will say I'm gonna be coming back to you later with some information on historic preservation and how we're gonna move forward with it, or if we are. But in the time being, I would like to, ask, your approval for Isaac Chavez. He's currently on the BCA city plan. He has, a lot of good knowledge. He's a younger guy, very interested in the city of Frankfurt. I didn't know if I could get your approval tonight to go ahead and have him be a part of that committee.
I'll make a motion to accept Isaac Chavez to the HBC.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Steve Beardsley,
Aye.
Mike Bright,
Aye.
Brant Fuller,
Aye.
Joe Palmer,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Clarence Worthen,
Aye.
Eric Woods.
Aye.
Okay.
Those are the 4-year terms, right?
Yes, yes, and, his first meeting will be Tuesday night.
So is he's completing
Tom
a
Lewis.
previous term.
Yes, and I don't have those, yes, I don't have that, I don't know whether Tom was completed or if it's in the middle, because I cannot remember, and I don't have it here with me. But like I said, I'm gonna ask for some discussion at a later date, maybe at a work session or something, let's talk about the historic preservation and where we're gonna head from here. So does anyone have anything else for this evening?
I don't know if I should have brought this up in old business or maybe even as public comments, because this is more as a business owner and building owner, and I know that everybody will kind of shrug when they hear the topic, but downtown parking, I keep hearing people say that it's not a problem, but at the same time, it's becoming a problem in the future, not so much for daytime 2 and 3 hour type parking, but there are increasing numbers of apartments going in and upstairs. Those people don't have a place to park and to utilize. And the reason I bring it up is I have a building that I'm trying to sell, and they want to develop the upstairs part for apartments, but they're balking on it because where would people park? You combine that with what's about to happen when Prairie Creek Park opens and the number of people that are going to be wanting to use that. I don't have a solution. This is, like I said, this is more that I'm coming as a public comment, as a constituent saying, we got to figure something out. I don't know whether we have the ability to do public-private partnership with some kind of parking garage, whether there's some areas that are not being used that we could turn into surface parking, but we really do have a problem. And no, when you go downtown, usually you don't have a problem with parking to stop at the bank or at my office or at a restaurant or whatever. Yeah, 2 or 3 days a month, I do have clients complain that there wasn't any place close to park, but you're still parking a heck of a lot closer than you would in Lafayette or Indianapolis. I mean, they can park a couple blocks away. But for the long-term kind of thing of people that are going to be in apartments and for Prairie Creek, I think we really need to do some brainstorming here. And again, my purpose isn't that we discuss it tonight. I just want to bring it up as a concern that our city needs to address.
Absolutely, and I'm with you right there, Steve. I think it's a concern as well. Like you said, once Prairie Creek Park opens, I'm thinking we're gonna see maybe a bigger parking problem.
Yeah.
I guess everybody can just take that, think about it, and let's see what ideas we can come up with. Is there anything else tonight? Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay.
Second.
Thanks, everybody.